Alright, welcome back. This is going to be Enshrouded Update 6 Showcase for Thralls of Twilight. And let's get started. As you can see, lighting has been improved. You can see the god rays really nicely. And it has, in my opinion, helped FPS a little bit. There isn't a lot of placeables this time. There's a whole lot of things that are just ingredients. So I'm going to go through the placeables as best I can. So first off, you have a pair of trees that are new. This is going to be on the left, basswood tree and hazelnut bush. And I feel like I did them backwards. I feel like this is the hazelnut bush and this is the basswood tree. They're not fully grown. They've been on here for well over an hour, but still haven't fully grown. This is also Springland's dirt. So dirt is not dirt anymore. Dirt is Springland's dirt. Then you have Revelwood dirt, Nomad Highlands dirt, Albany Summits dirt, and then Revelwood stone. So you still got your regular stone, which looks a lot like Springland's dirt, just minus grass. So Revelwood, Nomad Highlands, and then you go into the Albany Summits, and then the Revelwood stone. So you get this kind of mossy stone. This is the Shroud Flayer. It's this guy right here. It does not do damage. I know the trailer showed it hitting the player. It does not. And it is sitting in Shroud soil. So we have a new farm soil, Shroud infused. Then we have a new road tile. New road tile is limestone. This is more your like Nomad Highlands road. Kind of kin to waste also. Then you get into quite a unique change for this update. And it's more heavy grasses. So they're called Fertile Springland's Dirt, Fertile Revelwood, Fertile Nomad, and Fertile Kindwaste. There is no, that I can find, no Fertile for Albany. I kind of wish there would because I think it'd be neat, but it really, really highlights the quality. I mean, you can kind of dig yourself into them pretty well. It does make finding the cats sometimes, the angry cats, hard to find somebody. So we got some rubble. Now, it doesn't quite look like the rubble that you're used to. So Springland's rubble, Revelwood, Nomad Highlands, and Kindlewaste. It's not quite the old style of rubble, but still, it gives you some new variety of things that you can place down. Quite a bit of variety, actually. 3 new blocks. We've got 1 roof. This roof is quite fancy indeed. I really like it. Kind of a copper, kind of like an old copper look, how it's kind of greened, you know. Then a new light block. The new light block is called Starlight, and it's past a puzzle that has stumped a lot of people. Not because it's difficult to figure out a way around the puzzle, it's difficult because it just kills you repeatedly. It does glow, so it is a glow block. It's not as bright as the other glow blocks, but it is nice looking. So the floor itself has got this nice metallic pattern. The column even has a little bit of light, you can see. The ceiling, of course. The wall is decent when you don't have a wall that has a window in it, but it's not as bright as the roof is. And then we have Midnight Tomb block. This is closer to a metallic. It's a very ornate, especially on the wall and the ceiling. The floor, I'm curious why it's like that. This is a full block. I placed this tile and you see how it's off-centered. It's going to be interesting trying to get it to where you have this full pattern visible. It looks like it's going to be a 1.5. 1.5 by 1.5 instead of 1 by 1. So I don't know. I'm not really sure why exactly they did that pattern style. Whereas if you look at this pattern, it fits the block perfectly. So I don't know. Time will tell, I guess. We've got some new aminals. They're not called dodo birds, but they are in the Kindlewaste. They kind of look like dodo birds, and the little baby one is just adorbs. They use the regular farm bed, and they use bird feed and bird bait. No, close. That's right. Oh, they jump too, so whenever you pin those guys in, make sure you really pin them in, because they jump. They are jumpy boys. Alright. I have placed a lot of this stuff on the table just to make it easier to see everything. So we have 3 new foods. Technically, we have 5. because we have these as well. So it is Shroud Timer, and there will now be 5 of them. There was one before, actually no, 6. There'll be 6 of them. So this Midnight Lily, which you can only get at nighttime, and Gloomberry, same thing, you only get at nighttime. This one's in the Rowood. 2 minutes Shroud, 2 health regen. Not too bad, and it lasts like 25 minutes, I think. Yeah, 25 minutes. Then you've got these 3 dudes, which are much higher. Do I have them on my bag? I don't have them on my bag. Over here, yeah. So you've got Calaluna Soup, which is 3 decks, 3 minutes. Shadowbloom Wrap, 4 Constitution, 4 minutes. That's probably the sweet spot where people will go if they want more protection. And then 3 Stam Recharge, 5 minutes if you want the tea. Because the main is different, you could technically run all 3 of these and get just a holy heap ton of extra time in the Shroud. There are 2 potions over there. You'll notice you've got a Fell Curse Cleansing Tonic and a Hemotoxin Antidote. This one helps to prevent you from getting Fell Curse, and this one just cures Hemotoxin's poison, so spiders poison you now. And it can stack up pretty nasty, and it doesn't want to go away. So we got a whole bunch of pots and pans. Very, very nice. We even got a little ladle right there. Very cool indeed. A new clay cup. Mortal and Pedestal. Pestle? Is it called Pestle? I think it's Mortal and Pestle. Some very nice metal pans and pots of different various sizes. Very, very cool. So here we have a new, what is essentially a rejuvenation potion. So instead of just your standard health pot, mana pot, you now have a rejuve pot. So it gives you less instant, but more over time. You can see they give you quite a bit over time. So it ends up being the top one, instead of being 1,000 health, it's 1,100 over its duration. So if you don't need all that healing right now, you can run a rejuve potion and keep yourself topped up for a little while. That is the Fell Curse and the Antidote. These heads come with the Barber. I don't have the Barber here. We'll hop over to PRW if I remember at the end of this. We'll take them out. The Barber allows you to change your look, so you no longer like what your appearance is. You can change your appearance to the Barber. These heads, as of right now, do nothing, and they have a huge hitbox. I couldn't put those heads any closer together. I tried. You can't dye the hair on them. They are just to showcase hairstyles. It's possible we'll get more because there's quite a bit of hairstyles. You know, you would go into the barber and say, I want that hairstyle. And that's exactly what they are. So it's something different. Yeah, that's about what it gets to. We've got new cosmetics and new armors. So the cosmetics, it's going to be the Scholar of the Empyrean set. This is your Twitch Drop set. And then this guy is the Scholar of the Young Flame. And I have a bone to pick with Keen on this. You can clearly see there is a cowl on that hood, on that head, and there is definitely not one on the head. This one shows a different cowl than shows up on the head. So I don't know what's going on with that, but it is what it is. Then we have, so this one's going to be Mage, and it's the Omen set. And we'll pull one off here and I'll show you what it looks like. So the Omen set is level 6. They're all level 16. They are very good for level 16, or they are very good for cosmetic. Once you get definitely by the level 23 set, you're not going to want these anymore, unless you just desperately need the Shroud Timer. Because that's really the benefit of these is Shroud Timer. Outside of that, you can get better of all the stats from other equipment. Then you've got the Plaguebringer. This is your Ranger set. And the Blackguard. This is your melee set. Now, the Blackguard does not actually light up very much. These two sets light up quite a bit. You can see the colorings. Even if I come over here and stand in the shade, you can see it's lit up. But the Blackguard set only has this little, like, almost like a diamond or a teardrop in its head, and that's it. That's the only thing that lights up. So, I'm going to say that these are new shields, but they're not really new shields, but now they're dropping for us. We used to only be able to get a cracked version of this one. We used to get a level 3 cracked, but now you can get, they're just junk. I mean, they're not good shields. This one is a nice looking shield, but they don't drop at very high level, and they only drop as common or uncommon. So they're not particularly special, but now we can get, this is the one the Fell Knight carries, and this is the one that the standard trash, the one without the spear, carries. We have hooks for our equipment. Now, these, I don't have one in my bag. The lute, the drum, and all that, they glow. They have this nice blue glow in them. I think they added that to quite a bit of things in this, so it's pretty nice. But now you can display them out, and with being able to do precise movements, you'd be able to do some pretty cool things. Like, I could see that being like a button, right? Push this button, opens that door, you know, that kind of thing. This is your coloring station. There, I hope it's a bug. When you do this and you, sorry, not this part. When you do this part and you pick an item and you want to see, now I'm on my own world, so I haven't unlocked everything. It doesn't show the dyes that you have sitting in a magic container. So I do hope that's an oversight, but this is essentially to allow you to change your gear, what it looks like. Watch on the left, you can see the gear changing. It's kind of an unfortunate chess piece because it doesn't change that much. It's just really the scarf and these little, my little tassel right there. But there's 41 total. So you get a lot of options. And some of the colors are just absolutely fantastic. We get a mirror that you obviously can't really see. So you got a standing one, you got a little table one, you got a sink, and a little stool. The little stool is, of course, goes with the barber, and you got a little barbershop sign. Why we don't have signs for all the other ones, I don't know yet, but hey man, everything we get is very cool. 2 new tapestries. Weirdly enough, one of them's a little bigger than the other one, just a little taller. And I can already see if these things will work with precise placement, people using these as rugs. Because they'll be perfect rugs. Like, they'll be genius for rugs. Some fencing. Fencing is very nice. Gives us quite a bit more option. I would not use this fencing if I was going to fence in the dodo bird type things, because, like I said, they'll jump. And they will jump this high. I've seen them on top of the crypts in the bottom of PRW. So then we have new railing stuff. So this is going to be... So we're going to start off with the simple wooden fence and railing. So this is like in the tavern, Goblet Tavern or something that everybody likes. It gives us short options. So you got fine stone, fine wooden, steel fence, and then we'll have a picket fence later. So now you can do smaller variants, because the ones we currently have are much bigger than this, much longer. So it'll give us a lot more option. The stone, you got the fine. Then you got the metal, of course. It'll be nice, too, not having the spikes on top of this, like the current fencing that we have. Because they're technically railings. Obviously, one with spikes over your hands. So pick a fence. The gate does work. Ah, very nice. And then your end piece there. There's not a lot of difference between these two. This picket that's above my head right there is slightly angled, and that's about the only difference. I would think they would have done something more, like one of those would be missing or something like that. But it's whatever. I'm not going to complain about getting new stuff. Let's hop over to PRW and I'll show you the new guy, NPC, Elio, I think is his name, Elio. Very Italian. Guess we could say we have Elio, the Italian stallion. Actually, before we go there, I'll show you the coloring station. There are 41. So if I go here, do that, there are a whole heap and lot. I love some of the purples. So it's a multicolor thing. Up to 3 different colors, depends on your setup. What's your... Oh, and some things can't be colored. That's something to be cognizant of. The head, chest, and gloves of the new fell set for mage cannot be colored, but the pants and the boots for ranger can. Yep, make that make sense. I don't know. So, here is your guy. He allows you to do all the things. So you can change, and this is the hair. We may end up getting heads for all, well, probably not for bald, but we may end up getting heads for all of these, just all the ones that are different. But yeah, you can go in, you can change all your things. You can even do eye color, all that stuff. Change your voice, do all the things you want to do. Save it and exit, and you got everything working again. It's a lot. There's a whole heaping lot of new materials. The like 8, 9, probably 10 boxes worth of new materials. So these kinds of things, you can only find them in the zones at nighttime, and you will not miss them. They glow from as far as you can see. This is made in the alchemy station. Spider glands is, well, spider glands. So mycelium has been broken up now. It's in 2 different technically 3 different types, because you also still have the old mycelium that you can use with the overgrowth tool. Then you have the sparks. This is how you upgrade equipment. I will actually show you one of the stations too real quick. One of these has, yep. So you got a Shroud Nexus, and we also have the legendary runes. So now a legendary weapon, you can do this twice, but the rest of it has to be with those. Let's bounce up here. I'm super glossing over a lot of the stuff in this update because there's a whole lot of little bitty things. And I'm sure people will end up doing videos about what this and that. So we come down here. This is no longer the 35 farm on PRW. It is now a gem forge. So you bring your gem, right? And your item. You can upgrade your gems all the way to level 40 from the basic. You just have to have the correct archaic essence. Now this says max gem level 35. It just means the max gem you can start with is level 35. It will upgrade to level 40. And then you pick whichever one. You can also take them out and move them to something else if you choose. Like you decide, I want to try a different one. They're not gone like a lot of games where that's part of the way they keep you grinding and keep you playing, is you have to keep going and getting new ones all the time. I did forget to show you gems. So let's go back here and we'll show you gems real quick. So gems drop at level. We do not have all of them on PRW, but they'll drop at level, various levels. Some of them drop a whole bunch of different levels. 18, 28, 35, everything from white to epic to legendary. So you've got a couple here. You can basically see what they do. These are all maxed at level 40. And then you got some green ones. Now, a lot of these, it's really simplifying what it shows there. Lightning damage on hit, it doesn't seem to work. The chance for additional projectiles, I'm hearing, doesn't particularly work correctly. So, yeah, there's some issue. I can say the one that has the... I haven't checked this one out yet. This is a really good one for Archer, because as you're aiming, but also Mage, it puts a mark on them and stack does 70 damage. Then it can do 225% of that, then 450% of that every time you aim again and fire. Well, every time you're shooting fireball or every time you're firing your bow, you're aiming again. But you get the idea. There's all kinds of gems to be able to do a whole variety. This one's more of like a survival one because it literally gives you 87 health regen for 3 seconds. It's like, oh my god. And as long as you keep hitting, it stays up. I have tested that one. That one does work. The only thing I don't like is you see in the top left corner where all of my stats would be and all the brick of like all the potions and things I would take, it shows up behind them. So it's really hard to see when you have a buff on. And then, of course, even older things now can have sockets. So we've been replacing them all on PRW. I don't have everything, but we're getting there. So you can get sockets all the way down to level 3? Level 3. Wailing Blade level 3 with a socket. Now, what we don't know really is can you even put a gem in it because it's so low level. Haven't done all that testing yet. But all of the old, I need to get the Lupus Scalper back and place that, you know. All these things that are lower levels and specific items I still need to replace, but we're getting there. It's an interesting update. The lighting did very, very well, and it's increased performance, definitely. At least, I would say, for most people. Alright guys, I appreciate you watching.